They talk behind your back, flashing smiles that hide knives in their teeth, plotting to rattle your peace. They mistake your calm for weakness, your silence for surrender, but they're blind to the truth. Your stillness is power, your restraint is control. At WisdomWavesAura, we don't just weather the storm of haters, we rise above it, untouchable, unshaken. Today I'm unveiling 4 electrifying ways to disarm your enemies without lifting a finger, without a shout, without sinking to their level. No vengeance, no drama, just you becoming a force they can't comprehend. This is Stoic wisdom at its finest, the kind we share at WisdomWavesAura, where we turn chaos into clarity and pain into power. Let's dive into how you can make your haters irrelevant, not by fighting, but by thriving. Your enemies crave your reaction. They want your anger, your tears, your proof that their words or actions have weight. They feed on the chaos they think. They can stir in you, believing that if they can provoke you, they've won. But here's the first secret we teach at WisdomWavesAura. Silence is your sharpest weapon. When they hurl insults, when they gossip, when they try to drag you into their mess, don't give them the satisfaction. Stay unmoved. Let their words fall like rain on stone, leaving no mark. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said, at best, "It's not the person who insults or strikes you who harms you, but your opinion that their actions are harmful." When you refuse to react, you're not being passive, you're in command. You're denying them the oxygen they need to keep their fire burning. Imagine their frustration when they scream into the void, and you respond with nothing but calm. That silence, that unshakable poise is what we cultivate at WisdomWavesAura. It's not just about staying quiet, it's about showing them their noise can't touch your core. They throw flames, but you remain stone, and nothing terrifies a chaotic soul more than someone they can't disturb. Every time you choose silence, over shouting, you're not just winning, you're rewriting the rules of the game. At WisdomWavesAura, we know this kind of strength isn't born overnight. It's forged in moments when you choose to breathe, to pause, to let their words dissolve into nothing. And when they see their efforts fail, when they realize their taunts can't crack your calm, they start to unravel. That's the power of silence, and it's the first step to making your enemies irrelevant. But silence alone isn't enough. The second secret we share at WisdomWavesAura is to build a life so disciplined, so radiant, that it exposes your enemy's weaknesses without you saying a word. Haters want to see you fail. They lurk in the shadows, watching, hoping you'll slip, praying for your downfall. Don't give them that gift. Instead, rise every morning with purpose. Train your body, sharpen your mind, reflect on your goals each night. While they waste their energy on bitterness, you're sculpting yourself into something extraordinary. Your life becomes a mirror they can't bear to look into, not because you set out to shame them, but because your excellence lays bare their mediocrity. Marcus Aurelius, another Stoic giant, said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." At WisdomWavesAura, we live by this. You don't outgrow your enemies to spite them. You outgrow them because you refuse to rot in the same soil they're stuck in. Every push-up, every book you read, every moment you choose discipline over distraction is a step toward a life they can't touch. They sit in their resentment watching you climb, and your quiet evolution shatters them. Why? Because the person they tried to tear down is now too far above to even notice them. At WisdomWavesAura, we teach that discipline isn't just about self-improvement. It's a weapon. It's the art of turning your life into a masterpiece that forces others to confront their own stagnation. You're not fighting them, you're leaving them behind, and that's a wound no insult could ever match. The third secret we champion at WisdomWavesAura is to outlast their hate. Hatred is a wildfire, fast, fierce, but it burns out quickly, consuming its host. Discipline, on the other hand, is like stone, steady, enduring, unmoved by the storm. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, warned us, "How much better to heal a wrong than to avenge one." While your enemies drown in their own venom, you build your life with purpose, step by intentional step. You don't just survive their attacks, you thrive through them. Every breath you take is deliberate, every move aligned with your vision. One day they'll look around and realize you're not even in the same reality anymore. They're still fighting a war you walked away from years ago, stuck in a battle you've already won. At Wisdom Waves Aura, we know that outlasting hate isn't about enduring pain. It's about building a life so strong, so purposeful, that their negativity becomes irrelevant. They throw stones, but they don't break you. They only reveal the strength you've been honing all along. You don't need to strike back because time and discipline are on your side. While they exhaust themselves in anger, you're climbing mountains they can't even see. This is how you win, not with a fight, but with a life so powerful it renders their hate obsolete. The fourth and final secret we share at Wisdom Waves Aura is the most radical. Forgive them and mean it. Forgiveness isn't weakness. It's a wildfire of strength that burns deeper than any insult ever could. Forgive them not because they deserve it, but because you do. When you let go of their poison, you free yourself from their grip. You're saying, you don't live in my mind, you can't taint my peace, you're not strong enough to make me hate you. Musonius Rufus, a lesser-known but profound Stoic, taught, it's not enough to refrain from harming others. We must also not wish them harm. When you forgive publicly, sincerely, you turn their venom into vapor. You strip away their last weapon, your attention. At Wisdom Waves Aura, we believe forgiveness is a declaration of power. It shows the world a person who could have retaliated, but chose wisdom instead. A person who walked through fire and still had the grace to say, I release you. That kind of strength is untouchable. It's not about letting them off the hook. It's about burying the damage they tried to inflict inside the unshakable person you've become. When you forgive, you don't just heal, you transcend. And that transcendence, that radiant peace, haunts your enemies more than any revenge ever could. At Wisdom Waves Aura, we don't teach you to react to chaos. We teach you to rise above it. Your enemies want war. You give them silence. They want your pain. You offer indifference. They want to drag you into their darkness. You walk into the light. This is the Stoic way, the Wisdom Waves Aura way, where we don't fight back. We move forward. We don't curse the noise, we outgrow it until it's nothing but a faint hum in the distance. Your haters may throw stones, but they don't break you. They polish you. Every slight, every whisper, every attempt to shake you only sharpens the edges of your strength. You become a beacon, not just for yourself, but for everyone watching, everyone who sees you rise and wonders how you do it. That's the magic of Wisdom Waves Aura. We show you how to turn adversity into fuel, how to make every challenge a step toward greatness. Let's circle back to the first secret, because silence is where it all begins. Picture this: someone's trying to get under your skin, throwing barbs, spreading rumors, doing everything they can to pull you into their drama. You feel the heat rising, the urge to clap back, to prove them wrong. But what if you didn't? What if instead you took a breath and let their words pass through you like wind through a tree? At Wisdom Waves Aura, we know that silence isn't just the absence of sound. It's the presence of power. It's the choice to stay centered when the world wants you to spiral. Your enemies expect you to fight, to shout, to give them the stage they crave. When you deny them that, you're not just winning, you're rewriting their story. They want to be the villain in your epic, but you're not casting them in your movie. You're the hero, the director, the writer, and they're just background noise. This is what we teach at Wisdom Waves Aura: how to take control by letting go, how to win by refusing to play their game. Now think about that second secret: building a life that shines so brightly it blinds those who wish you harm. Discipline isn't sexy in the moment. It's not glamorous to wake up early, to say no to distractions, to keep grinding when no one's watching. But over time, those choices compound. They turn you into someone your enemies can't ignore, not because you're loud, but because you're undeniable. At Wisdom Waves Aura, we're obsessed with this kind of quiet power. Every time you choose to work on yourself instead of worrying about what they're saying, you're building a fortress. Your habits, your focus, your relentless pursuit of better, they become a light that exposes their shadows. You don't have to call them out. Your life does it for you. Imagine the look on their faces when they see you thriving, not because you fought them, but because you ignored them. You didn't waste a single breath on their hate. You used every breath to become better. That's the Wisdom Waves Aura way. We don't compete with others. We compete with ourselves, and in doing so, we leave everyone else in the dust. Outlasting hate, our third secret, is where patience meets power. At WisdomWavesAura, we know that time is the ultimate judge. Your enemies might have their moment, their burst of venom, their fleeting victory, but moments pass. Hate burns hot, but it burns fast, and soon it's ash. Discipline, though? That's a slow burn, a steady flame that lights your path for years. Seneca's wisdom rings true here. Healing trumps vengeance every time. While your enemies are busy plotting, you're building. While they're consumed by their grudges, you're creating a life aligned with your purpose. One day they'll wake up and realize you're not just ahead. You're in a different league. They're still swinging at shadows, while you've moved into the sunlight. At WisdomWavesAura, we don't just teach you to endure, we teach you to excel, to turn every challenge into a chance to grow stronger. Your enemies don't define you, they refine you. And then there's forgiveness. The fourth secret, the one that feels like a paradox but hits like a lightning bolt. At WisdomWavesAura, we know forgiveness isn't about them. It's about you. It's about reclaiming your mind, your peace, your power. When you forgive, you're not saying their actions were okay. You're saying they don't get to live, rent-free in your head. You're evicting them from your thoughts, cutting the chains they thought they'd wrapped around you. Musonius Rufus's words echo through our teachings at WisdomWavesAura. True strength lies not just in avoiding harm, but in refusing to wish it on others. When you forgive, you're not weak. You're invincible. You're showing the world, and them, that their hate can't touch your soul. Imagine the power of standing tall, looking your enemy in the eye and saying, "I release you," not out of softness, but out of strength. At WisdomWavesAura, we believe this is the ultimate victory, to walk away from their war and into your peace. This is the essence of what we share at WisdomWavesAura. We don't teach you to fight fire with fire. We teach you to rise above it. Your enemies want chaos, but you give them calm. They want your pain, but you offer indifference. They want a battle, but you deliver peace. A peace so powerful, so unshakable, that it haunts them more than any comeback ever could. At WisdomWavesAura, we're not about reacting to the noise. We're about transcending it. We're about building a life so strong, so vibrant, that the haters become irrelevant. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to fight to win. You just need to keep moving forward, keep growing, keep shining. That's the Stoic way, the WisdomWavesAura way. Every video, every lesson, every moment we share at WisdomWavesAura is about empowering you to become the best version of yourself. Not for revenge, but for you. Because when you live with purpose, when you embrace silence, discipline, endurance, and forgiveness, you don't just defeat your enemies, you make them obsolete. They become footnotes in your story, while you write chapters that inspire others. At WisdomWavesAura, we believe that the greatest victory isn't in proving them wrong, it's in proving yourself right. It's in showing the world and yourself that no one can stop you from becoming who you're meant to be. So, the next time someone tries to shake you, remember the secrets we share at WisdomWavesAura. Stay silent, not because you can't respond, but because you don't need to. Build a life so disciplined that their weakness is exposed without you saying a word. Outlast their hate with a steady, purposeful grind that leaves them in the dust. And forgive them not for their sake, but for yours, because you deserve to be free. This is how you win. This is how you become untouchable. This is the WisdomWavesAura way. Keep rising, keep shining, and let the haters fade into the background. Your story is too big for their noise.